Hello, Gemini, and welcome to your monthly forecast. This is for November. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is going to help you navigate through all of the challenges and opportunities in the month ahead. You can use it, as always, for sun, rising, and moon. We're going to get straight into channeled messages. Today was kind of special because, as many of you who watch all of my videos know, I can receive a very abstract symbol, like something in nature, or I can actually just see scenes from your life or things to focus on. It was very much the latter today, which is going to help you because it's specific. So let me break down what I was being shown in spirit. The first thing was basically a first day at either school, work, or something new where you didn't have the same level of expertise that you might have for other things in your life. And whenever we have one of these first days, it can bring back some of the fears or anxieties of trying to be perfect or trying to make a good impression. What Spirit conveyed to me as I meditated on this after I woke up was that it's not about perfection. It's nice if you can do something perfect on the first attempt, but very rarely is that expected. I think what's going to help you the most right now is focusing on three things. First and foremost, just listening, being able to absorb new information. The second thing is asking if something isn't clear, whether you're reading instructions, you're given instructions, or you're just expected to jump in and you're not sure what to do. It's better to raise your hand. There's no silly questions. It's going to help save time and energy down the line. And then just gradual improvement over time, being able to adapt and to improve. So it's not about hitting it out of the ballpark and being perfect on the first day. It's about showing that you're there to learn, being interested, being engaged, and reciprocating on the same sort of level of support that you're getting, hopefully from the other side, okay? And that hopefully takes some of the pressure off of you, especially if you're just in the throes of learning something new. It doesn't literally have to be a first day at work or school, but there's something new, there's something a little bit uncharted. That takes me to the next message, which is trying to get a blueprint. So for anybody that has been a new student and it's like the first day at college or again, first day in a new city, you need the GPS, you need the map. And I think that what you can do over the first week of the month, because we're right here right now, is to map out what your goals are. What am I trying to get done? How have I tracked so far on my bucket list for 2024? Because you still have a couple of months. Let's try to check off what we can. And if there's something that needs to be recalibrated, now's the time to do it. One specific area, and again, Spirit got really specific with you, Gemini, was with respect to resources. And as we know, resources can be your time, your energy, or your money. What Spirit showed me was a balance book, like an old-fashioned checkbook. So definitely getting a feeling for your budget is going to be important. I think one of the things in particular that was spelled out for me was like long-term planning. So maybe this is planning for college if you have children, retirement for you, maybe just even having a contingency budget for like sickness or holidays or things of that nature. Future planning. I didn't get any sort of imminent problem. It was more an opportunity to create stability for yourself in the future. And it's not a fun thing for us to look at sometimes, like financial planning and estate planning, but it's really important. And that came through loud and clear for you. The other thing that I was picking up on was focusing on how you're spending your time. So yes, we can legitimately look at money and investment as one thing, but resource management and time being the most important resource and the most finite because we only have so many days of our life on this planet, it's really important to make each one of them matter, right? So look at the people that you're spending your time with. Are they giving as much as you're giving? Look at the activities that you're involved in. Do they lift you up or do they deplete you? And then specifically look at your finances and see if they're worth the investment as well. And don't forget about planning for the future. These were super specific messages, very goal-oriented today, but I think this is going to help set you up for success. And by the way, all of this energy around firsts really reminds me of aces. So I'm hoping that we get at least one ace or something in the suit of pentacles to see where some of these resources might be headed. So now this is a perfect segue to shuffle the cards and take a look at November. Before we shuffle the cards, I wanted to show Apollo. He is so zen in the background there. Basically, he's setting the tone for us to tune in. So there we go. Let's get started. Take a moment, if you will, close your eyes, let go of any existing thoughts that you might be carrying into this reading. Imagine the rising sun wrapping its rays of light around you like a cocoon, And in this safe light, I'd like you to welcome in angels, spirit guides, ascended masters, and of course your own higher self. Open your eyes when you're ready. Let's begin. Good to see all of you again. Thank you so much for showing up. All right. Major changes going on there. We can see that already. Yay, we got an ace. I was hoping that the ace, and specifically that we would get something with pentacles, would come through, so that's great. Two aces. Fantastic. That makes sense. This can be jobs. This can be relationships. There could be a couple of new things coming through, so we'll break that down in a moment. Okay, we got a volunteer on this one. All right, let's get started here. We're going to begin with your Catalyst card. You received a very clear message. It says, get your brave on. In other words, boldness is rewarded in this period of time. The Catalyst helps you create necessary change. If there's something that you want, if there's someone you're interested in, this is a chance to basically make your first move, to at least put yourself out there. You never know what's possible until you ask, especially since you've got two aces, one of them in the upright position. It's worth putting it out there. The question, the thought, the offer. This is also just an encouragement from a place of personal development to focus on being more outspoken, to reclamation of power across the board. Maybe it's in friendships, relationships, familial connections. And this is just a chance to find your voice. To speak up and say no sometimes, because we actually have that here in Hopes, Fears, and Opportunities. Justice. Actually, no, sorry, Queen of Cups. Justice is right below it in the environment. So there's a couple of chances to say no to some things and to really let people know what you need to feel supported and what your kind of expectations are. So we're definitely seeing communication playing a major role in the month ahead, and it could open up doors and also help facilitate healing. Let's take a quick scan of everything on the table. Changes, but changes for the better because we have two aces, new relationships, some balancing of some old relationships, and really this encouragement to say no, to find your own sort of footing when it comes to contracts, agreements, and again, relationships as well, which might all kind of have a little bit of overlay, especially if there's a business relationship that you're looking at. But let's go ahead and start with your centermost card. It's about clarity, folks. We have the Two of Swords in reverse. I mentioned that for those of you that are starting something new and there's ambiguity going in, the most important thing that you can do is ask a question. What do you mean by that? Could you show me an example? And really get to the bottom of it, because being inquisitive is the number one way to help sort of solve the Two of Swords. So don't be afraid to speak up. This is also encouragement from Spirit not to ignore a problem, especially if there's something going on in your health. Deal with that sooner than later. But in anywhere in your life, whether it's in a relationship or financial or it's maintenance, the sooner you address it, the less it will cost energetically in the long run. And then finally, this is an end to stagnation, because the Two of Swords can represent feeling like you're in an impasse, not knowing which direction that you should move. And a lot of times this is just due to fear of failure or fear of the unknown. This is a month when you're really being encouraged to explore, and that is being shown loud and clear on the card that's crossing it, the Six of Swords. And look at how liberating this movement feels. We don't even see a ship. Normally there's a person steering a ship. Here we have these birds lifting you up, kind of like balloons. When you speak your mind, when you take the first step, when you explore something new, it becomes a point of liberation for many of you. Speaking of the Six of Swords, here's the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, and you can really clearly see that there's a passenger or two and there's a driver. And so whenever the Six of Swords comes through, there's an opportunity to decide how active you want to be. Are you ready to reach for that higher goal, for that opportunity? The energy in the catalyst this month seems to suggest that you are, so really find that inner boss, that inner bravery, and embrace. When I think about this bravery card, it also reminds me of the strength energy, which is being ready and willing to take on any challenge, knowing that you've got what it takes. All right, so we'll see how that pans out. We'll see if it doesn't show up maybe in Sun, Rising, and Moon later, but I also was reminded of that as we're looking at this. Let's go into the deep past. I love the Four of Cups as illustrated here. What we're seeing is basically, it's like the wizard behind the curtain. You're starting to see your own power. You're starting to see through facades. You're also starting to see the hidden blessing, because to me, this is always a blessing in disguise. One thing may not have panned out the way you wanted it to, but something bigger, better, or more aligned is starting to come into your path. Celebrate what is coming through rather than focusing on the could have, would have, should have. Rather than comparing yourself to a friend, a peer, a family member that you may perceive as doing better than you. You're exactly where you need to be, and there's a floating ace in the sky, or in this case, right in front of the person, where they're starting to realize, oh, there's hidden potential. That's something that I can do that maybe someone else can't. Focus on your strengths. And if there is something that you are wishing that you could create in your life, this is a great way to transmute what starts off as jealousy and just make it a goal, something that inspires you. Say, wow, if that person can do it, what can I do? And maybe how did they do that? I'm going to learn from that, and I'm going to try to cultivate that spark within. That's how I usually approach Four of Cups. I'm aware that for some of you, you might feel frustrated. You're not tracking exactly as you wish you might have when it comes to accomplishing something by a certain time. But I like to see, like, if we just picture this as a cosmic plan where the universe was pushing you here a little bit, delaying you here, and aligning you to this. It was all part of something bigger. Focus on what you can control. Focus on that hidden blessing that's right in front of you. Let's see what's coming through in the recent past. Just acknowledgement that some of you have made some massive changes in your life. Recent past meaning most of this is behind you. Some of it may still be around you, but it's by the end of this month, the dust should settle. And this is a chance where you can still make an impact in parts of your life. This is as much construction as it is destruction, because think of renovation in a house. You may knock down a wall, but you're going to keep certain things. You may even reuse some of the bricks or material to make something else. So think about what you want to keep, think about what you want to release, and now is a really good time to do that construction, destruction, reconfiguration sort of energy. If your house is a little messy or your office is a little messy, it's a good time to clean that out. If your finances are a little messy, also a great time to get organized. This, as we can see, is hands-on. It doesn't mean things are falling apart always. Sometimes it simply means that you have a better idea of what you can do with it. So roll up your sleeves, make the necessary changes. Part of this involves looking at something maybe that was swept under the rug and saying, now is the time. And maybe for some of you, you might be looking at moving or traveling more, or simply saying, I want to do less of this and more of this, and I have to steer the ship in this direction. A new relationship could also constitute some of this, because this could be something that you've been trying to create, and lo and behold, someone comes into your life, or by surprise, it's like a knock on the door, an unexpected note, a phone call out of nowhere, and it's a welcome one. So I see a new connection coming through in your life. I love Six of Cups, by the way. This is so fun when it happens in love, because it's someone where there's both, the chemistry, the attraction, but also just this camaraderie, right? In a business relationship, it is someone who there's a kinship with, and it's easy to work with. I think back to when I was in high school, and I was fortunate enough to have a co-editor on the yearbook that I worked on, and we just really got along, and it was easy to share. There was no competition. We both kind of were in our swim lanes and helped each other. So sometimes you have a friend and a colleague, and it just takes all of the stress away because you know that you can be clear with them and you can be honest, and it's going to be fun. Having fun is really important in this moment in time because we see the children here. That fun and all the butterflies here are transformative. You know what? I'm getting some really beautiful symbols in this deck about how this next step or this next journey, it isn't that heavy. So look at this. We have the birds lifting this person up in the Six of Swords. We have the butterflies symbolizing the movement here. We have a change card, but two positive transformational and lifting energies right around it. So whatever change you've been trying to make, whatever significant shift you want, it feels easier than it was before. Age and wisdom are wonderful for that. A lot of times, the second or third attempt can be the one that is just, chef's kiss perfection. And I feel like that's it. But back to what I was saying, make time for fun. Make time for the people that you love in your life. If you have children in your life or you want to give back to the next generation, this is also nicely aligned with that. But many of you have just met a new friend, a new partner, or a new colleague with whom you share this really beautiful connection. And it looks like it's something that can last because we have the Ace of Pentacles here. Ace of Pentacles can represent either giving or receiving an option or an offer. This can be money, it can be a contract, it can be a job. This can also be someone saying, I'm interested in you. So in love and relationships, this is someone that comes in and just is very honest. They want to hang out. They want to be with you. This is also nicely aligned with the channeled messages. Remember what I said? Get a handle on your money and your time and how you're spending your sort of schedule, your resources all across the board. We have this here. And it helps you for the future. Look at all the growth on this card. That's what I was saying. I'm not really worried about it. I just want you to look at your resources because you might be able to find something that you were missing. And we're looking at this as this person starts to search. There's something bigger that reveals itself. So definitely look. There might be a hidden opportunity, a diamond in the rough, something that was really worth your time and energy. And it's worth all of what we just talked about, making necessary changes, being brave, reaching out, asking, just going for it, even if it's unknown or unfamiliar, because we see something sweet as a result of that. Possibly like, again, friendship or an opportunity or both. This looks really good. Speaking of that, I'm seeing a lot of networking energy for you. This is a great time to grow your friend circle, your colleague circle, and of course, for those of you that are looking for love or a significant relationship, this is a great time. If you're already partnered or you're happy in your life, I just see a deepening of that relationship or even your chosen family, because the Ten of Cups doesn't have to just be blood relatives. This can be our best friends. This can be just people that really have an easy connection with you, and it's not a lot of work, and it feels like you want to spend some more time with those people this month. We'll talk more about that as we get into love and relationships, but so far, especially on this diagonal, I'm liking it. So your crowning card is all about making connections. The near future is about an opportunity and some sort of a connection coming through, and then we see even more when it comes to whatever it is that you're investing here. It seems like it's going to be very rich and very worthy of your time and energy. The first thing that you have to focus on in the environment, though, is potentially walking away from someone or something. So justice in reverse can represent a severing of ties. Maybe there's just something that isn't worth it anymore. You put a lot of time and energy in it, and it's just not panning out. There could be a person that continually is not observing your boundaries. And so you're going to create that boundary and say no. So healthy communication of those boundaries is going to be so crucial. Some of you, this can represent even a divorce or an estrangement. Ultimately, though, this is going to help you. This is going to help you have more to give to the things that matter most. For everybody else, if you're happy with your relationships, this can just be work-life balance. This can be finding more of what you need in your life rather than constantly giving. So we can just look at the scales as that, like, am I in? Am I out? Do I want more of this, less of that? This is a little bit of an internal audit, and I think it's perfectly timed. Of course, on December 31st and January 1st, we're always making resolutions, but you don't have to wait until the very last day or first day of the year to do so. November is the time when you can plant seeds of intention, see them grow, And also, like I said at the very beginning, possibly check off some of the things that you were trying to do this year because you still have time. We're right here, 2 months out before this year ends, and you can kind of like steer the ship in the right direction. That's why I do like having the traditional deck right by me here, because sometimes it helps with some of the metaphors. Looking at hopes, fears, and opportunities, sensitivity, emotional, and I would also say mental health is really important right now. So some of you are really, really good at supplying love and support for others. It may be harder for you. Maybe you were even told by your parents or family that you're not allowed to say, I want this, I need this. I'm normalizing that it's going to be okay for you to state expectations or express needs and wants. And not just to others, but like to the universe. This is something that I do for manifesting. If I'm frustrated, I'll say, I want to make this happen. Show me a path. Help me see, what am I missing? And this will connect you with the center card here, the Two of Swords. Help me get out of my way, universe. And then we see the universe peering through in the background saying, all right, I'll try to show you. Lift up all those cups. There's something that you're not seeing. Look around, dig a little bit deeper. So part of this is expressing your wants and needs to your higher self, to the universe. Part of it is actually telling people what you like, don't like, what you need. And then the rest of it is taking care of yourself. The Queen of Cups is going to do things that make her heart heal, that make her feel supported and loved. And it really is about sensitivity. So for some of you, I want you to focus on the environment, because these are where the reversals are. These last three cards, the rest are upright, which is kind of fascinating. The center's reversed. Most of yours are upright, but I want to focus on these because this is where the recalibration needs to be. So this, touching this, touching this. There could be a person in your life that wants too much or asks for too much, or is constantly kind of dumping things in your general vicinity. You're going to push back on that. There could also be something that just doesn't make you happy any longer, and you're going to decide to move in a different direction there. And you're going to focus on self-worth. Now, in all relationship readings or just in general readings, I want to see this upright because it represents not needing anyone else because you have enough. You're more than enough for you. So one of your mantras this month, Gemini, can simply be this: I am enough. It's such a powerful mantra. I'm enough for myself. I'm enough for others. I'm more than enough to deserve the opportunities that are coming forth. I'm ready and worthy to receive all of this, because the satellites here, it's just not facing in the right direction. So I think it has to do with self-care, self-worth, and once that starts to kind of shift, the world is your oyster, because now we have possible connections in work and love that want to come through. And that's where these 6 and 10 of Cups can really be. I just see networking, new connections, new opportunities, love and friendship that really wants to build up, possibly one thing or one person that needs to kind of be separated from in this month, or that you need to say no to. And once you create those boundaries and limits, then you're going to be able to receive more, okay? All right, Gemini, let's go a little deeper into health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with the energy of health. And in the Oracle card here, it's so funny. We actually have another balance illustration here. And like I said, this isn't just about contracts and legal things. It can be work-life balance. This one specifically says your body. Is there anything that feels like it needs attention? The Two of Swords has to do with vision and hearing. And so, because if you look closely on this card, the blindfolds go around both the eyes and the ears. So of course we can take it at face value, and it can be focusing on if you're having problems hearing, get that checked. If there's any sort of problems with your glasses, or if you've never had them and you think you might need them, it's a great time to look at that. But this can also be a balanced diet, putting more exercise into your life, getting ample sleep. Anything that brings equilibrium into your body, now is the time. Standard disclaimer, as I'm looking at this, you'll obviously want to work with a health professional, but the message here is about finding the balance that works best for you. Let's see what else wants to come through in the spread here. For some of you, it could be a change in how often you're traveling. Six of Swords for some of you could represent a job where you spend a lot of time going between a couple of offices, a couple of locations. And if that's too much, speak up. If you'd like to do more traveling, speak up, but there's something around the frequency of travel that's important. This is also saying to get out of a situation. It could be a relationship, could be a living environment, could be a job, but there is something here that might have normally been anchoring you or pulling you down, and this is about saying, no, I'm ready to move on. And almost immediately when you do that, it is like liberation. And when I think back to like quitting some of my jobs in the past, particularly when I decided to go into this trajectory a decade ago, it felt so good. I was so ready. There was no fear or doubt. I just wanted to move forward. So sometimes the best thing you can do is say goodbye, because you're also saying hello to a new path. You're walking away from one thing and toward destiny. And that's a powerful thing if you're at that juncture. I think that this month, your friends, your family, and your network is going to be such an important and valuable asset. So having fun, connecting with the people you love the most, possibly putting more time in a core relationship, investing in someone new or something new actually lifts you up. Now, if there's either a friend or a family member that you are feeling like codependency or like enough is enough, this is showing that it's time. And it is difficult maybe, but it is important to speak up and to be brave, right? There could also be just a lot of emotions that you're dealing with in this moment in time, and you don't have to do that all on your own. Tap into resources, talk to people, and do what you need to do to find a creative channel, because these are highly sensitive cards, but I'm not seeing like an output for them. So I think it's really important to have that creative channel this month, especially. The other thing here is just moderation. So we have all these cups reversed, and that just represents like getting some things out of your life, whether it's too much sugar, too much work, too much drama, whatever it is that's kind of creating this sense of being overwhelmed. Creating a little bit more, going back to this balance, is going to be essential. One last thing, connecting this to strength, because I talked about how it reminded me of strength. It's also an encouragement to focus on your overall body health, and particularly making sure that you're focusing on, as we get older, this is important, but doing things that create strong bones and strong muscles. Again, I'm not going to give advice on how to do that, but I will say this card is connected to that. So it's a great time to work with your doctor and figure out how to kind of create the perfect exercise routine for you. And I think that's everything that's coming through for health. Most of it's pretty manageable. The big thing here is finding your voice, speaking up, and moving out of either situations or relationships that are anchoring you, because you've got too many great things this month that want to come through. And we're going to go into the next category, which will show you some of that, which is wealth. So without further delay, let's take a look at it. So I love that the goat came through, first of all, because this is speaking to you being the greatest of all time. But here's what we want to focus on. It was reversed, so you might be challenged in embodying some of these. You have the ability to conquer or face any challenge. That's why bravery came through as the catalyst. Vitality is something connected with health. So vitality is feeling strong and vibrant when you wake up. The things that could be kind of like chipping away at vitality might be a person who's negative. This can be negativity. This is someone who says no, no, no to everything, and you're like, actually, I'm feeling really positive. So that is something you want to be mindful of. And then we have new heights. And this one is just so beautifully connected to this. So literally, we see someone rising up, ascending to a new height. So you are the greatest of all time, the goat. You're more than able, you're ready, hopefully, to conquer whatever challenge might be in your path. We're going to help you get back to that vitality. Let's do that by digging a little bit deeper into all the areas of wealth. We're going to start off with both those that are working and also those that are entrepreneurs. Then we'll move on to those that are job seeking, and we'll wrap up with students and retirees. Starting off first with those that have a traditional 9-to-5 job, here's what I see. Changes, necessary changes. The tower is unavoidable, typically. When it comes through, it's because we've delayed at doing something that we should. And it's a blessing because the universe is saying, you need to move forward. I'm going to make it absolutely clear on what you should be focusing on. So if something has come across your desk, or someone delivers something and says, I need you to do this, or we want you to focus on this instead, rather than resisting the change or the incoming opportunity or movement, you're going to embrace it. And I really feel like this is going to lift you up to the next level. Some of you may also be looking at simply communicating that you want something. And this wasn't feeling good, whatever you were doing before. And when you simply speak into existence what it is that you want using your bravery, then we see a return on that, okay? Feeling worthy and ready of that is going to be very important, because we have the worth, but we need the self-worth in order for those two to marry up. You are really networking, partnering, and meshing well with others. Couldn't ask for better cards than 6 and 10 of Cups when it comes to just the ability to create and make things happen. And to that end, many of you are in this perfect, it's almost like you're the glue, right? The connector. So you may be someone who is just kind of like bringing together the right kinds of people. Whether you're in a position of power or a mentor or a coach or a connector, that's how it's coming forth in here, and I quite like it. Now, there are a few difficult decisions in front of you, something where you just have to, like I said, say no or create a boundary. I think especially when it comes to something that doesn't make you happy or someone that is taking more than they're giving. We want to find greater balance in your life. To get back into that energy of vitality, I think it's important to feel invested. Sometimes we end up on a path where it's just sort of like you're clocking in, clocking out. You're not sure how you got there. You're not sure why you're doing it. And so the universe wants you to slow down and get a view. Get a bird's eye view, literally, in this card, and see what else is out there. So if you're feeling stuck, you can actually get unstuck. You might be able to find a new opportunity this month or change things to your liking. So the vitality comes from passion and joy, and that's really what you want to focus on. Conquering things, by the way, if you're trying to focus on how to overcome something, you don't have to do it alone. We have 2 cards of more than one person coming forth. So power in numbers, particularly if there's a necessary change that needs to happen, communicate it in a group rather than you sort of trying to take on the giant yourself. You don't have to do it all alone. I think this is a great month to increase your revenue potential. And some of it is just by budgeting better, but some of it could be about being more aggressive in what it is that you want, asking, seeking, initiating conversations, and going. This could either be like actual networking, going to an event, or reaching out, through distance, through technology, and creating more of a network. There's a lot of different ways to connect nowadays, but this is a time to grow. And that's what we're seeing here loud and clear. Okay? Focus on the I am ready, I am worthy piece, because I see something coming through and it's worth giving it a shot. Okay? There could also be something that you missed. Go back into your emails. Go back into your phone log. Make sure that you've answered all your texts, all your emails, all your correspondence. There could also be a different path or different way to make something happen. So be open to different approaches. That could also help you out. You may also be seeking out a face-to-face meeting with somebody or being invited to have an important conversation. I would say yes to that. This is a change that creates opportunity. This is a change that lifts you up. The tower is positive for you this month. I like what I see. Lean into change, and you can be the agent of change this month for sure. For those that are entrepreneurs, let's change it up a little bit here and see what's going on for you. So in entrepreneurs, I think one of the most important things that you could be looking at is contracts. If you like a contract, great. But if not, this justice card is saying, make sure that you are circling something and saying, this isn't what we agreed to. I would like this, and this change to happen. If someone isn't upholding their end of the contract, obviously work with a lawyer or an expert and make sure that everything is to your liking. Look at the fine print. I think it's really important to look at the fine print. The other thing here, when it comes to business, this is a card of disruption. And that's kind of like a fancy word in business that says you're not going to follow the trends, you're going to set the trends. So in entrepreneurial sort of energy this month, we see people being interested in a brand that sticks out, that isn't the sort of expected thing. So you're taking people by surprise. That's the Two of Swords reversed. not necessarily expecting it, but also not opposed to it. It's like, I didn't know I was even looking for this, but I think I am. It's a kind of like a blessing in disguise. I think that you're going to possibly have more orders or more money or more interest coming your way. You might have to say no to some things, or you're going to have to find a way to maybe hire more, or something's out of whack a little bit here when I'm looking at resources like supply and demand. That's what I'm really looking at. So if there's more demand than you're able to keep up with, you're going to have to adjust pricing, and you're going to have to look at production. I think also there could be an unhappy employee, and it's really time to address that. Try to fix it if you can, and if you can't, then this isn't something that you want to continue to have going on in the company, because it takes away from all of this. You may also decide that you've outgrown your current place. This is a chance to move up. Literally, that's what this is. So you might have to find a new office space. Also, this can be about going beyond where you were before. This is a globalization card, so going bigger and reaching beyond borders. So make sure that you're getting ready to, for instance, maybe ship to a different city, state, country, or province. Pretty good overall, especially with 2 aces on the horizon. I like what I see. Okay, moving on to those that are job seeking. Can you find a job? Yes, the Ace of Pentacles is favorable. This job may not be where you're at. Either it requires travel or a move. Interestingly enough, I'm really drawn to the Tower in the recent past. Some of you may have had to move on before you were ready. Maybe there was a new boss and you didn't like the way the company was headed, or you had a really negative experience and you just had to quit. Maybe there were layoffs or something of that nature. This is a reminder that you're moving towards better experiences, and not to expect that that's going to either hinder your ability to move forward, nor is it necessarily indicative that there is a pattern going on. Sometimes we just have to go through a situation because it wasn't a fit. So I want you to feel ready and worthy. That's why this Ace of Cups could be reversed. Don't let it sort of get in the way of this option that's coming through. I think the best thing that you can do right now is to lean into the network. We have 2 networking cards, 6 of Cups being the closest people to you, your partner, your best friend, a family member, and this also being peers and friends as well. There's something within that group of close connections that could help you get the next job. The other thing is going to events, hiring events, professional events, anything where you can mix and mingle, because that can also help you. And when you're able to make a personal connection with somebody, they're going to be more open and or forgiving of stuff in the past as well. So for those of you that have just been unemployed for a while, the Tower can make you feel like, where am I? It's a limbo card too. So sometimes when I pull this, it just shows that someone is between jobs, between relationships, or maybe even in a temporary living situation. All of these things make it even more important to get this. Focus instead on, I'm ready, I'm worthy, I'm not going to get, sort of ahead of myself. The best meetings I've ever had are the ones where it just feels okay and there's not a lot at stake. It's just more both sides vetting out if they're a connection, right? So when you're trying to find that job, get back into that space of you're just as worthy and you're also interviewing someone else as much as they're interviewing you, okay? You shouldn't have to accept the first offer if you don't like it. I know sometimes when you're really, really looking for work, you'll overlook things, but this is saying don't overlook something in the contract or in the expectations, particularly if it just doesn't feel right on an energetic level. Trust that, okay? Let me see if there's anything else. Some of you may be deciding to go into a teaching or mentorship role, since I'm seeing all of these groups of people around you, and that also looks favorable. There's a distance component, there's something hidden in the contract, and I think focusing on the worthiness piece, that's really the most important portion. Okay, focusing now on those of you that are students. Wow, I connected with you at the very beginning. I could feel that sense of trying to get my head on straight with something new, trying to figure out how I was going to make it all work. So I think balancing your schedule is important. We have 3 cards showing imbalance. So you're either over or underloaded when it comes to schedule, too little or too much. For some of you, this might be your first time in a new city or away from home, and connecting with the people that you love can give you the support you need and also the encouragement you need. By the way, you're going to succeed in the long run. It's just a little bit of work-life balance or work-study balance in this case. And if you don't like where you're living, then changing up the dormitory assignment, maybe going off campus if you're not liking the assigned, sort of roommate situation, or deciding to maybe go to a college closer to home or something like that. Closer or further, there's something about distance and environment that needs to be sorted. And the rest of it is just giving yourself time. I know for me, it took a couple months to just sort of like feel like I was in the flow of something new. This is also true of when I, quit my job and started this a long time ago, 10 years ago. It almost took 6 months for me to create a schedule that felt right. Give yourself a semester. Don't get too hard on yourself. It takes time to recalibrate, but I really do feel optimistic for you. And I think that the connections you're making are amazing. Your ability to excel is there, but there's something either in what you've put on your schedule for this semester or where you're living that needs to be recalibrated. Okay. Once that happens, then I see success. Okay. And if you are feeling overwhelmed, seek out counseling and support. There's lots of support on most campuses that can help you out there. Now let's focus on retirees. Retirees, some of you are very interested in traveling. You may not know what to do next, but the change can be really, really exciting right now. I feel like you're going to find a new value and worth in yourself. You're like, this is fun. I can do this. I can finally do this because I have more time and energy. Travel, friends, and family. They're the central themes here, rather, but also maybe taking on a new class or learning something. This is why I put students and retirees together, because you're at like opposite ends of the life experience, but you're learning a lot in this moment. So do something that exercises the mind, gets you really active, and makes you feel like, I can't wait to get up in the morning, because the vitality piece is really important for you. And also this little piece around finding a new height, achieving something beyond your wildest dreams, that's definitely coming through in this moment as well. Let's go ahead now and transition into the energy of love and relationships. In the oracle position here, we have the whip. This is really interesting because for many of you, there may be a need or a desire to stop behavior that is not optimal. So we have Medusa forming these sort of tendrils here on the whip. But the whip can show that there might be someone in your life verbally, energetically, or just in general is not supportive, might be creating pain, discomfort, or even just abusing the privilege of being a friend. So one thing that you really want to focus on this month is cutting that kind of energy out and definitely having the necessary boundaries. This could just be a pushy person too. They're used to getting their way. And so this month, we're going to connect with the energy of Medusa and say, this is coming to a stop, right? You are strong enough to pump the brakes here and say you deserve better. So that's the first message that came through. Let's go ahead now and delve into 3 major categories. We're going to start off with those of you in a relationship, then looking for love, and then single and happy. For those of you in an existing relationship, there could have just been a recent change, but a change for the better. The tower in a relationship can be, for some of you, deciding to move in together. It could be the birth or addition of a child in the mix. It can be also the decision to be exclusive, to get married, to take it to the next level. And that's what we see here. Children, commitment, next level energy. And again, possibly a move. None of this is necessarily anything other than change for the better. For some of you, there could be a little bit of resistance in, again, feeling, can I do this? Am I ready? Because this can also represent a partner in the past that was not what they should have been. Maybe they just were not supportive. Maybe they were pushy. Maybe you had to fight for your own sort of like voice and freedom in that relationship, but it very much is in the past. For those of you where this is karmic or past energy, what you're now leaning into is finding your voice, exercising your communication skills. And in this relationship, where you can really make it work is by saying, I don't want that, but I do want this, or I feel comfortable with this or not comfortable with this. Speaking up with your dreams, your desires, your wishes, all of that is a part of a healthy relationship. Can you make it work? Absolutely. But that being said, I think it's really important to make sure that you don't agree to or commit to something before you feel cool, confident, and ready for that next step, okay? In a really strong relationship, there could also be things that are happening outside of the sort of two of you. So what I can see for some of you is there might be some things going on in the home, just home improvement, a leaky roof, something that needs to be replaced. That can cost money. That can cause stress. There may also be a third party, and this doesn't have to be a love interest. This can be an aunt, a grandparent, a mother, or a father that's coming in, and they're inserting themselves in the mix where really they don't need to be. And you get to push back because, again, that's an abuse of the sort of like relationship, right? Just because you're a family member doesn't mean you get to treat me that way. So you're learning to not let people sort of step on parts of your life that they don't belong in, really, okay? And there could be just increased sensitivity with your partner. Maybe there's a lot going on in their life. They're out of balance. It could be health issues too, because that's what this balance card represented here. So what you're going to try to do is support each other wherever possible, reach out and get network and support where you can't kind of fix it. And then if there's somebody that's trying to get in the middle of things, you're going to do your best to create boundaries. But it's also important that that support is on both sides, because I can think of examples in my parents' life too, where there was an in-law, but maybe one partner was afraid to speak up because they didn't want to hurt feelings, but then that hurts the partner's feelings. So it gets tricky. But at the end of the day, the most important relationship is the one between the two of you. And if you have children, the 3 or 4 of you, it's like that family unit. So if anybody's getting in the way of that, it's important to protect the most central family unit, not the extended. And at some points, maybe even the parents are going beyond what they should. So have each other's backs. That's what I'm trying to say in the least amount of words. That's going to be the test of the relationship, okay? Fortunately, most of you are treading in the right direction when it comes to that, and you're easing into these positive changes, learning to speak up when you need to. All of that bodes well. Some of you may be on the fence of like if you want to either take it to the next level or continue. What you want to look at is sort of the life you've built together, and do you see yourself with that person in the long run? I think it is important to be honest with them and with yourself. So that's a very small subsection, but it's okay to walk away if it's time, if it feels like it's time, okay? To that end, let's take a look at the next category here. For those of you that are looking for love, can you find it? Absolutely. This could be the kind of love that sweeps you off your feet, though. What we have here is past life connection, deep camaraderie, and again, it kind of takes your breath away when it happens. The person may be on the heels of a divorce. And by the way, when I was looking at the previous, so those of you in a relationship, one of you may also have children from another marriage. So I can see that for both existing families and those also that are looking for love. Be open to that if that's not an issue here. And the only thing that creates is an attachment of another party. So you're going to have the kids plus a partner, and that's adding to the equation. So if you don't want that, let them know at the beginning, because they need to know that as well. For some of you, there's just rebounding energy. And although there's this really great spark, you're afraid of a commitment, perhaps. Just take it a step at a time, one day at a time, one step at a time. And you don't have to figure it out overnight. If it all feels well and you're just worried about, like, I don't want to repeat history, don't rush to committing. Don't get too serious too fast. Have some fun, get to know the person, and really focus on saying to yourself, this time it's going to be different, or I'm open, I'm looking, I'll recognize the signs, because you will recognize the signs earlier. To that end, if you see something that you don't like, a red flag, embrace it. Don't ignore it. This card is literally saying, don't sweep it under the rug, just move in a new direction or address it. A change is necessary in that case. So as long as you're awake and aware and you're not seeing anything problematic, then can you find someone? Yes. What I see here are 2 different signs that are coming through, possibly a Libra, maybe a Cancer, Scorpio, or a Pisces. There's something about this where, again, it's either surprising in the timing, or you're not ready, or they're not ready, so don't rush it. It should feel very, very easy, and I'm seeing here that either the level of commitment or your proximity to a change that just happened in your life, it's almost asking you to just put the brakes on and go into this sort of friend zone for a bit and just make sure that there is chemistry and friendship, because that's the foundation upon which a strong relationship can flourish. But definitely someone wants to get serious, okay? But I feel like there's some stability that needs to happen in your life first, okay? Now, for those of you that are single and happy, good for you. I feel like what you can really focus on is networking. This is very similar to those that are retired, but networking comes through loud and clear. I think that you can also accomplish a great deal in any project or activity or personal goal that you have here with this Ace of Pentacles. And I think one of the most important things here is taking a step back from, again, people, commitments, and energies that just aren't worth the time that you're putting into it. Focus more on a project or a personal goal and the relationships that matter most. Maybe taking a trip to get some perspective as well. Let's move on to Destiny. Now, this card doesn't do a great job of illustrating what the deck sort of says it means, so I'm just going to spell it out for you. Instead of naming it arbitrarily Ava here, they should have put what the illustration is supposed to convey, which is potential deception or trickery or things going beneath the surface, deceit. So they have this kind of person coming out of a flower, and it's meant to represent temptation. So this is basically like the Devil or Moon card or Seven of Swords. So let's just talk about it as if it were any of those. So usually with the Devil, it can be an alluring choice, but there's something within you that says, I don't feel right about this. So this is especially important if you have to sign on the dotted line. Say no, say I'm not ready. This can also be something where you know there's more to the story. So what you would do then is ask, say, tell me some more about this. I'm not sure I understand. Get to the bottom of it. Use your journalistic skills and just ask questions. And at the end of the day, if you don't want to, if you don't feel comfortable, or if there's some sort of a red flag, listen to it. Because literally, this is about not ignoring something, right? Weighing the options and saying, I'm just not comfortable, okay? And that's everything with respect to that card. And it's basically showing that there might be a potential roadblock in the distance, but you should see it a mile away because it was reversed. And a Devil card in reverse or a Moon card or Seven of Swords in reverse, it's transparent. And if we look at the deep past here with the Four of Cups, you're going to see whatever's going on. You'll see the manipulation, or you'll see the deceit, or you'll see the red flag. And it's going to be soon enough. It's just a matter of listening to yourself. Okay? So now let's go a little deeper into the energy of Sun, Rising, and Moon signs to see what else is coming through for you, Gemini. Sun, Rising, and Moon. Oh my gosh, they're so powerful. They're amazing. All right, let's go to Sun sign first. Queen of Swords. She is so nicely aligned to everything that we've been talking about. Speak your mind, speak up. She's also connected to justice. This can represent contracts. And guess what? You're going to be able to sort it out. Queen of Swords in the upright position is powerful, capable, communicative. Around her, she has all these little butterflies. So she's going to be able to get the change that she needs or she wants. And that is a reward for this bravery, for also pushing, as we saw here with that strength card that I connected to bravery, like just saying, no, this is what we need. This is what we need. And by doing that, you're going to be able to really bring things to a happy place and get what you want. I like it. Speak up, speak often, speak early. By doing this, it's not going to be as difficult to convey your emotions or to get people to understand. If you wait too long to convey something, it can feel overwhelming. But frequent, clear, and constructive communication is the key to success. And this is you, Gemini. Queen of Swords for an air sign, that's about as good as you can get. So I'm really liking what I see here. By the way, it's a great time to put your energy into developing something, whether it's a project or a relationship or whatever, part of yourself as well. Queens are very nurturing and developmental. So put your energy where you want to this month. It's going to be fruitful. All right, let's move on to Rising. This is amazing. I mean, the High Priestess is one of the best cards for manifestation. The ultimate, arguably, I would say. So the most important thing that you can do if you are Gemini rising is to Pay attention to your thought process. All of the stuff that I gave you with respect to mantras is especially true for High Priestess. I am ready. I am worthy. I am willing. And really feel those words resonate through your body. The other thing that you want to focus on here is putting your energy into a creative task. This is one of the highest creative cards that you can pull in tarot. The other thing here is healing energy and intuitive energy. So if you want to go a little bit deeper down the path of metaphysics, this card is associated with that. If you need to heal your body, this card shows that this is a good time to put the focus there. It's also very persuasive. If you need or want to get your way on something, use your already very strong communication skills to help manifest that. So great symbol. Pay attention to your intuition and don't second guess it. Moving on to moon sign. This is the phoenix rising from the ashes. This is showing me that it is change for the better. And we saw that already hinted with the Six of Swords showing an uplifting energy. We also see souls rising from a perceived death or sort of like stagnation. Now everything is starting to break through. Judgment comes through when you start to accept something. Okay, that's happened. I can't control the way they think. I can't make this not be, but what I can do now is choose how I'm going to react, and I'm going to choose what I want to do next. The power exists in the choices you make now. The choices you make now forge a new path. You don't have to repeat history. This is a bold card. It's about reinvention, reimagining, and rising up. Really, really strong. And you got both justice and judgment. Justice was in the environment. So you have to make a decision or you have to say no, but then after that, it's really, really liberating. So many cards showing this ability to rise up. We have the birds lifting the person up in the Six of Swords, the butterflies and the Six of Cups, and now judgment, all the birds here as well. Very, very positive. Now let's take a look at one final card, one final question. This is anything that you need some additional guidance on. Go ahead and focus on that question right now. I'm going to shuffle the cards and we'll see what Spirit has to say. It can be yes or no, or it can be more nuanced. Just go ahead and ask the question. Okay, once more, we have all of the court cards and even the ace here when it comes to cups are reversed. So as a yes or no, it's not yet. The reason is, if this card were in the upright position like it is now, it's about saying, yeah, I'm ready to receive it, bring it on. It's also about being communicative of what you want. But in the reverse state, it's someone else getting more in the exchange, or it's maybe you just not feeling comfortable yet with what you're receiving or communicating what you need. So something on the heart level isn't connecting here. You really need to feel it in order to do it. And maybe all you need to do is speak up, reach out. Pages are communicative, but when the Page of Cups is reversed, she's not communicating in the way that she normally would. So it's either a block mentally or emotionally, or it's something that doesn't sit right. And in that case, we're going back to Seven of Swords, where you're just picking up on something where it isn't what it's meant to be, or what it's kind of like shaping up to be, and you're seeing through that. So trust in your instincts. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. If you want it, speak up. And if someone isn't intuiting what your needs or desires are, let them know, set the expectations. This is going to liberate you, and you just may get what you're asking for. Okay? Thank you so much, Gemini, for showing up today, for making this such a beautiful and amazing reading, and I appreciate your time and energy too. If you're brand new, hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. You won't miss out on a future video either. Remember to like this as well, and then opt into notifications if you've never done that before. Click all, that way you'll get, hopefully, notifications of all future videos. You can also follow me on social media for updates and reminders, news and announcements. It's my name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all the major platforms. I'd love to have you join me there. If you ever need to clarify, where to find me, you can go either to the main YouTube channel page or to my website. All the official links are there. Just a reminder, I don't offer private readings, and I don't use direct messages for business, so I'm not going to reach out and offer you a product or service. I'm not on WhatsApp, on Telegram, or any of those other sort of messaging apps. If you would like to connect and show support, you can do it right here on YouTube through super stickers, super chat, and memberships. Not only that, Show up on Sundays. Every Sunday around 9:15 a.m. Pacific time, I do a live stream and you get to connect with the community and you get to connect with me in real time. And that's the real thing. Thank you in advance, by the way, if you did give back. I appreciate it. Finally, and most importantly, I just want to say thank you so much. Thanks for being a part of this reading. Thanks for your time and energy and for really being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I always like to wrap up here with Apollo, so let's give him a little scratch on the head and then I'm going to sign off for today. Hey, buddy. Want to say hi to everybody? Yes, there's a good boy. He is ready for bedtime. I still have some work to do. Thanks again, everybody. I wish you all the best. Take care.